the timing of my commencement matter today couldn't have been more appropriate, because this Saturday is World MS Day, and this is observed worldwide, including here in Ireland. And World MS Day raises the awareness of needs of people living with MS and the needs of their families. And it's also an opportunity to highlight the work of the professionals who work with and who care for people and work alongside people living with MS. And it's also an opportunity as well for MS and their loved ones to acknowledge the full lives that they still enjoy, through events that are all around the country. And there's loads going to be happening all around the country this weekend. I want to bring this up, but I raised this I don't know how many months ago it is now, but yesterday in the AV room as well, I don't know if you were at, maybe Minister, there was an AV briefing from MS Ireland yesterday. And there was representatives from all, on various different issues, but there was two representatives in Sligo, because there's a continued absence. Sligo and Leitrim are the only counties that don't have an dedicated MS community worker. So I raised this, and I suppose, and this is alarming, because Sligo and Leitrim, the region, have the highest rates of MS in the country, but yet they don't have a dedicated community worker. So they're estimating that there's 300 people living with MS in Sligo and Leitrim, and I'm saying this is an estimate, because most people become known to MS Ireland through a community worker and who work on the ground. So there's 122 individuals have made themselves known to MS Ireland. And Donegal, I suppose, and they have been accessing services through neighbouring counties like Donegal, have been particularly generous, with the resources that they're helping out with. And just, I suppose, to outline the role of the community workers, they play, like, everyone's experience of living with MS is different. And the different levels of support, I suppose, based on your need is different. But what the community workers do is that they, and I know this from working as a community worker, their role on the ground is pointing people that have a diagnosis into, they're directing, signposting into services that are available, and, assisting with grant applications. Like, their role is so important. One of the first representatives I actually got as a senator was from a young woman in Sligo who has MS, and she needed an adaptation for her car, and because there was no dedicated community worker, she reached out to me, and I was able to link in with Donegal. But there is, I suppose, there's a real absence, and I know that the MS Ireland have submitted a business plan in 2025 to the department, and I suppose what I'm looking for is to see where that is and what's the update on it now. They are being discriminated against in their location, and especially that the highest incidence of MS are in Sligo and Leitrim. They have the estimated cost is that they put in the costing, and this hasn't gone up in the year that they've submitted. It's a year now since they've submitted it. Is 72,997. That's all they're looking for. And this, I suppose, and their role is so vital in people's lives, particularly with initial diagnosis of MS. So I'd just like to say, have an update, please.
Thank you very much, Laska Herlock, and thank you very much, Senator Cosgrove, for raising this important issue and for giving me the opportunity to respond. I actually met with MS Ireland recently, and we did indeed discuss the prevalence of multiple sclerosis in Sligo and in Leitrim. And you're correct in saying that an updated business case was submitted by MS Ireland for the recruitment of an MS community worker for the Sligo-Leitrim region. This was received and reviewed by the Local Disability Services Management on October 10th, 2025, and the proposal was subsequently escalated to the Head of Service for Disability Service for consideration. At present, however, there is still no specific funding allocation within the HSE Disability Services budget to support the establishment of this post, and it hasn't therefore been possible to progress to recruitment at this stage. Notwithstanding this, a range of supports are currently in place for individuals with MS in the Sligo-Leitrim area. The HSE Physical and Sensory Disability Service provides case coordination and social work support. While the case coordinator has been on statutory leave, it is anticipated that this leave will be ending shortly, and full case coordination service should be resuming from July. The HSE Physical and Sensory Disability Service also provides for the delivery of home support and personal assistance services based on assessed individual need. The MS Northwest Therapy Centre is funded annually by the HSE through a service arrangement, and it delivers a comprehensive range of supports, and that includes individual physiotherapy, telehealth consultations, exercise and rehabilitation programmes, including online, equipment assessments, psychological and wellbeing supports, including counselling and mediation, alternative therapies, including reflexology and peer support and foot care services. And in addition, individuals may access a range of HSE community services, including occupational therapy and orthodontics as required.
Your response. And it is disappointing to hear that it hasn't been, that it's not prioritised. I suppose the role, and I wonder, is it because we have such a wonderful MS therapy centre in the Northwest, and it's fantastic, it's an amazing centre, but it's a very different role to the community worker. And as well, not only is the community worker's role in about signposting and, looking at resources and, but they're also in charge of fundraising. So the Northwest are missing out, so Sligo and Leitrim are missing out in significant particularly this weekend. There'll be loads of fundraising activities happening all across the country, but because we don't have a community worker in Sligo, they're going to miss out on that. So it's a double whammy that they're not, so I think it's just to reiterate the importance of the community worker's role, that it's very different from I know that there is the physical and sensory disability team, and and the MS therapy centre, but they're very, very different roles. So if you could do anything at all to push it up, and I think it was very evident in the AV1 presentation yesterday how much of a disadvantage we are in Sligo and Leitrim by not having this role. Thank you.
Senator, and you're right, there is wonderful supports available through MS Ireland in your region, and they provide a range of supports in the community for people with MS, but also for their families, which is really important too. MS Ireland plays a really important role when it comes to supporting, educating, advising the person with MS and their families from diagnosis right throughout their journey with MS. In relation to specifically the Northwest and Sligo and Leitrim in particular, just to confirm that the HSE does remain committed to working with stakeholders, including MS Ireland, to explore opportunities that would enhance service provision for people with MS in the region, and that is subject, of course, to the availability of resources. I might just take a moment just to wish people a very happy World MS Day on Saturday, and to thank all of the volunteers and indeed community support workers up and down the country who have given so much of their time to organise events that will be happening throughout the weekend in many counties, and just to wish them the very, very best of luck, every success, and hopefully a little bit of sunshine for their events. Garmagat.